Hello and welcome to Upstack America's Oracle ABS Financials Functional Training. My name is Bob and I'm the lead senior consultant for Upstack America. And with me today I have Victor, who is also a senior consultant. And today we are handling General Ledger Lesson 23. And Victor, please walk us through.
Thank you, Bob, for the introduction, and welcome everybody to 23rd lesson of this Oracle Financials Functional Training. Today we are going to look at the topic of reporting currencies, which is our third topic under the foreign currency subject that we are looking at. For reporting currencies, we are going to look at the three reporting currencies ledgers that we have, which is the balances level, the journals level, and the sub-ledger level. And the balances level is also called translation. Okay. So let's get right into it. What is reporting currencies? So we know from what we have done so far in this course that when we create a ledger, we assign a functional currency, and that functional currency is usually the local currency for the area in which that particular company is operating. And we enter transactions in either the functional currency or in foreign currency, which are then converted into the functional currencies, and the balances are usually posted in the functional currency. And when we do inquiries or produce reports, then those reports are usually produced in that functional currency. Our functional currency in implementation in this training is the US dollar. However, in many cases, the need arises for companies to produce reports or to do inquiries in currencies other than the functional currencies, that is in foreign currencies. Okay, so that is where the topic of reporting currencies comes in. And when we say reporting currencies, a lot of the time we are actually going to be referring to reporting ledgers. So when I say reporting currencies, don't think about a currency itself like Kenya shillings or euros or US dollars. Think about a ledger. So perhaps a more apt name would be reporting currency ledgers or reporting ledgers. So we can create reporting currency ledgers at three levels, as we have already mentioned: the balances level, the sub-ledger level, and the journals level. And as we have said, the balances level reporting currencies ledger is also called translation, or the process of creating a reporting currencies ledger at the balances level is called translation. Okay. So we are going to look at each one of them and see the particular each reporting currency's peculiarities. And we are going to start with the balances level or translation. So what we have displayed on this slide is something we have already covered. We usually enter journals. So let's start from here at the bottom. We enter journals in functional currency, and then we post the journals. And when we post the journals, the balances are updated, and then we can do financial reports or do inquiries in the functional currency. Okay. When we enter foreign currency journals, they are first converted into the functional currency, and we have seen this process in action. They are converted using exchange rates that we provide, and then we post those journals, and the balances are affected, the balances in functional currency, and then we can run financial reports or do inquiries in the functional currency, which in our case is US dollars. However, like I have said, there are times when the need arises to produce reports or to do inquiries in foreign currencies, currencies which are not our functional currencies. And this is where the issue of reporting currencies comes in. So for the case of balances level reporting currencies ledger, what happens is we have entered foreign currency journals or functional currency journals in our ledger. The foreign currency journals are converted using exchange rates into functional currency amounts, and then they are posted. After they have been posted and the balances have been updated in functional currency, when we run translation, what happens is a reporting ledger is created. All right? And what this reporting ledger shows is these balances in our primary ledger are converted into the foreign currency of interest using exchange rates that are provided by the user. And then now we have two types of balances. The primary ledger, which shows balances in the functional currency, and then we have this reporting currency ledger at the balances level, which shows balances in the foreign currency of interest, in this case Kenya shillings. Okay, so what is the scenario when we might need to do translation? So supposing Maskani, the company that we are using in our implementation, is up for sale, and there are various investors who are interested in acquiring this company, right? And these investors, they come from all over the world. We have some from Kenya, we have others from Europe, we have others from different countries, okay? So before they acquire Maskani, they might need to see the financial reports of this company. However, we can assume that these companies will only understand these reports if those reports are in the currencies where those particular other interested investors are based. So that's what we do. We translate our balances into the currencies which these particular companies are interested in, or they understand, if we put it that way. So that is when this feature of translation can come into play. So when we do translation, what the process of translation does is it automatically produces a separate reporting ledger at balances level. When we say at balances level, we mean that it's only the balance table amounts which are converted, and we will see how this is different from journals level and subledger level reporting currency ledgers. So when we run translation, the ledger that is created is sort of a virtual ledger. So remember how when we were setting up our GL module, we had to go to the accounting setup screen to create our own ledger, specify the currency and specify the first period and all those things. When we are doing translation, once we run the process of translation, a ledger is created automatically by that process of translation. So we can actually create a reporting currencies ledger at balances level manually, but we don't need to, because once we do translation, that ledger is automatically created. So the other thing to note is that we can do translation for multiple currencies. So like we said, supposing a lot of investors are interested in acquiring Maskani and they come from all over the globe, then each of them might want to see the reports, the financial statements for Maskani in their own currencies, or the currencies of their own locales, okay? So we can produce multiple reporting currencies ledger at the balances level. So once we do the process of translation, then we can produce reports such as cash flow statements, income statements, and balance sheet reports, which are the financial statements we usually generate from the GL module, right? So we can do these reports both in our functional currency, and we can also do these reports at in the foreign currency for which we have done the translation. Okay, so we know about the monthly cycle for GL, where we do things like managing periods, we open periods, we post journals, we review the journals. No, we review the journals, then we post them, and then we run reports, and then we close the periods, right? So if we are doing translation, how does the process of translation fall into place within this monthly cycle? So what we have to do is we have to open periods for our primary ledger, the one which is in our functional currency. Then we can import journals, or we can generate journals or enter journals. And then we post these journals so that we can affect the balances. Now remember, translation occurs at balance level, right? So once we post the journals and we have updated the balances, that is then when we can do translation. We can convert those balances into the foreign currency balances, which are going to be for our reporting ledger. And then now we can run financial reports from both the reporting currencies ledger, and we can run reports from also our primary ledger. So the thing to note here is that if we post the journals and then run translation, right, and then we realize that maybe there was something wrong after we are running our reports, and maybe we have to go and do some adjustments, right? Maybe do some reversals or something like that. We would then have to do translation all over again, so that the translated balances can show the correct amounts. Okay, but all in all, that is where translation falls in this GL monthly cycle, or this periodic cycle, let me call it that. So we open the periods, we import or enter the journals, we post the journals, then we translate the balances, and then we can run financial reports and then close the periods. Okay. So points to note about translation: the ledger that is created automatically once we run the process of translation. If it's something that we are going to do at the end of every period or periodically, we don't have to. Once the ledger is created the first time, then that's the ledger that's going to be used for that particular currency. Not multiple ledgers are not created for a single currency. Okay, so once we run translation the first time, that is going to be your balances level reporting ledger for that particular currency. So let's jump on over to the journals level recurring reporting currencies ledger. So let's assume that this is our primary ledger. Okay, we usually enter journals or import journals to our primary ledger. When we post the journals, those amounts, they affect the balances. The balances are updated once we post journals. Now, from the balances, we can run financial reports such as balance sheet statement, income statement, cash flow statements, and all those other financial reports. And we can also do inquiries, right? We can also do journal level reports, and we looked at some of these in the initial lessons of our training. We have the general ledger report, account analysis report, trial balance, and all those, right? Now, assuming that we want to have foreign currency amounts for both these levels, right? For the balances, so that we can be able to run financial reports in foreign currency, and for the journal level reports, so that we can also be able to view these reports in foreign currency. That is where the journals level reporting currencies comes in. In a scenario where this situation or this might be required is maybe this is a subsidiary company and the parent company would like to see these kind of reports, both the detailed reports at the journal level and the financial reports, right? So let's say in our case, the example that I have used, maybe the parent company is based in Kenya, right? And they would like to see Maskani's reports, both the financial reports and the journal level reports. So what they would request is that Maskani do a journals level reporting currency ledger. So what happens when we implement a journals level reporting ledger is that once we enter and we post these journals in our primary ledger, the journals are automatically replicated and posted in this journals level reporting currency ledger. Okay, so once we enter journals in our primary ledger in US dollars and we post them, the balances here are updated and these journals are posted, and then automatically the journals here are replicated and are converted into foreign currency amount using exchange rates that have been provided by the user, and the journals are posted here, and also the balances are updated here in the foreign currency. Okay. However, what we need to note is that for the journals level reporting currency ledger, unlike for the translation, it is a ledger that we have to manually create. All right, so it's just like our primary ledger. We have to manually create that particular journals level reporting ledger. Once we do that, we have to also manage periods, opening and closing periods, just like we do for our primary ledger. Okay. For the journals level, what happens is that when we post journals in our primary ledger, the posting program then replicates those journals in the reporting currency ledger, and then those journals are automatically posted in the reporting currencies ledger, and hence the balances are updated. So the difference between the journals level and the balances level is one, that we have to manually create the journals level reporting currency ledger. Therefore, we have to manage this ledger like the way we would manage our primary ledger. And for the journals level, we can see both detailed reports and financial reports. Okay, so we can see balance level reports such as income statements and balance sheets, and we can also see journal level reports such as the GL report and account analysis reports. So that is the journals level reporting currency ledger. So what happens to the GL monthly cycle when once we determine that what we need to create is the journals level reporting currency. So like I said, now we have two ledgers to manage. We have to manage periods for both ledgers, opening periods. Then we import or enter journals or journals which are generated by various programs like we have seen. And then when we post those journals, they are replicated in the reporting currencies ledger. And after we post those journals, then we can run financial reports from both our primary ledger in functional currency and our reporting currencies ledger. Okay. And then we have to close periods for both ledgers. So what happens if you try to post journals in your primary ledger without having opened the periods in your reporting currencies ledger? You get an error, all right? Because once you post the journal in the primary ledger, the posting program will automatically try to replicate that in your reporting currencies ledger, right? But then the period will not be open. And remember, just like in our primary ledger, you can't post a journal in a period that's not open. Okay, so the journals level reporting currencies ledger adds another layer of work or management, because that ledger has to be managed just like how we manage our primary ledger. So that is the journals level reporting currency ledger. Okay. So now let's go to the sub-ledger level reporting currencies ledger. Just like the name implies, this has to do with journals that are coming from the sub-ledger modules such as AR and AP. And actually, there's an error that I need to correct on this slide. This third party module shouldn't go through the SLA module, right? You should go directly through the primary ledger, because the SLA module is the engine for the the Oracle sub-ledger modules. So that is something that I should correct, but hopefully you'll still be able to understand the concept. So in order to understand the sub-ledger level reporting currency ledger, let's assume we are talking about the journals level reporting currencies. But in this scenario where we have journals that are coming from the sub-ledger modules and third-party modules. So what would happen, and we also have journals that we can enter manually directly into general ledger, right? So what would happen if this was journals level and not sub-ledger level, is that we import, when we run the import program and we bring in the journals from these sub-ledger modules, the SLA module will create the accounting and produce the journals here. Once we post those journals, right, then they would be replicated and posted in our reporting currency ledger. Remember, we are assuming that this is the journals level, right? So also, if we are entering manual journals straight into DL, we post those journals, and then when we post them, they are replicated and posted in reporting in the reporting currencies ledger. Third party, which I said is not supposed to go through SLA, but rather if you were to represent it here, it would go straight to the ZL. The same for journals that are coming from third party. Once they come into GL and we post them, then those journals will be replicated and posted in our reporting currencies ledger. Okay, so that's if what we are talking about here is journal level. However, what happens when we create a sub-ledger level reporting ledger is that these journals that are imported from the outside the Oracle sub-ledger modules, okay? So the create accounting program housed in the SLA module will create journals for both our primary ledger, which is what normally happens, and it will also create journals for our reporting ledger. Now this is the sub-ledger level reporting currency, okay? So when we create a sub-ledger level reporting ledger, the SLA module will create accounting for both the primary ledger and for the reporting ledger, okay? And as we go on, we will see that that has its own benefits, which we are going to talk about. But that is the difference between the sub-ledger level and the journals level. So if this was journals level, what would happen is the journals from the Oracle sub-ledger modules, the create accounting would do that for only the primary ledger, all right? And then once we post those journals here, then they would be replicated and then posted in the reporting currency journal ledger. But for the sub-ledger, the create accounting program creates journals for both the primary ledger and journals for the reporting ledger in the foreign currency. Okay. However, everything else remains the same for other modules. Okay. So if you have manual, and this is now the correct representation, if you have manual or third-party modules, they will be entered into primary ledger, and then once we do the posting, then they will be replicated and converted into foreign currency and then posted in the reporting currency ledger. So that's the difference between the sub-ledger level and the journals level reporting currency ledger. Now again, for the sub-ledger, we have to manually create a ledger, just like in the journals level, right? Which also means we have to manage periods, just like we did for the journals level. And these are the other points that for the sub-ledger level reporting currency ledger, the create accounting program is the one that creates reporting journals from the SLA module, all right? And then posting program creates reporting journals for the manual and for the manually entered journals, and for the journals coming from custom modules, which are non-Oracle. Okay. However, for subledger level, just like journals level, we can do reports both at the journals level and at the balances level, because remember that here it is both balances and journals which are being converted into foreign currency, which means we can run foreign currency reports from this here, and we can run financial reports from the balances. So that those are the main features and differences between these three levels of reporting currencies. Now, like I said, for the subledger level, we have certain benefits that come from the fact that these reporting journals from the subledger modules are created by the Create Accounting program. So one of those benefits is that we can drill down. We can drill down from the reporting currency ledger down to the subledger window that created that particular journal. Sorry. All right. So because these journals, right, are produced by the Create Accounting program, then it means there are links. Okay. Remember, once we do, and we talked about this, the summary and details transfer from subledger modules to GL. So remember, when we do detail, the drill down feature is always available, but if we do a summary transfer, then it means we have to select the import journal references option so that we can be able to drill down. So anyway, because these journals for the reporting ledger are created by the Create Accounting program in the SLA module, it means we can drill down from our we can drill down from these journals, right? We can drill down from these journals back to the subledger module window that created the journal. This option is not available for the journals level and for the balances level, because one, for the journals level, these journals are created by the posting program. Once we post, that's when they are replicated and posted in this reporting currencies ledger, which means there are no links back to the subledger modules. So that's one advantage of the subledger level. And the other thing is that we can view the unposted journals in the reporting currency ledger. Okay. Remember, for the journals level, once we post the journals, that's in the primary ledger, that's when the foreign currency journals are produced and posted in the reporting currency ledger, which means we can't see the unposted journals in the reporting currency ledger. So those are the benefits of using the subledger level reporting currencies. This is how the GL monthly cycle will look like with the subledger level. We open periods for both the primary and the reporting currency ledger. We import or enter journals, right, from the subledger modules, or enter journals directly to GL. we post those journals, and then we can run the financial reports, and then we close periods for both ledgers. So which kind of reporting currencies ledger you create as a financial consultant depends on the needs of the client. So like we said, translation we can say is the least demanding on the system, because we only translate the balances, and it also, we can say, it also has the least amount of work, because all you don't need to physically create the reporting currencies ledger, and you don't have to manage the periods in that ledger. So depending on the needs of the client, you will find out what they require in terms of reporting currencies, whether they want to view detailed reports like the journal reports. Then you can tell them they have the journals level reporting currencies and the sub-ledger level reporting currencies as options. If they also want to drill down to the sub-ledger module window from the reporting currency ledger, then you can tell them that they have the sub-ledger level reporting currency as an option. So I think that's a good place to end. We have introduced each type of reporting currency ledgers. We are going to continue from there and do an implementation of each type. But Bob, unless you have something to add, I believe that's a good place to end our lesson.
Thank you, Victor. You're good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.